A lot of people think that when they want to start looking for a job, the first thing that they should do is to write their resume. And that is 100% absolutely wrong. I'm Liz M. Lopez, career and business coach. Stay with me and I'll tell you why starting with your resume is a wrong way to go about getting a great new job. Hey everyone, I am Liz M. Lopez, career and business coach, and I recently was asked, what is the first thing that you should do when you want to find a new job? Whether you're starting one of your first jobs out of college or you are an experienced professional that's now move up the leadership ladder, or maybe you're a C-suite executive looking for their new executive type of role. There's this common perception that one of the first things you should do is to write a resume. And I'm going to tell you that that is not the correct answer. I know that seems shocking, right? Here I am, a resume designer, a career coach, and I'm telling you, don't start with a resume. Well, I'm glad you're here because I'm going to clarify that myth for you. And I'm also going to share a ton of other great information in this video and in others. So before we get too deep, take a moment, hit that subscribe button, and hit the little notification bell because you're going to want to hear what I have to share because it can be transformational in your career. Okay, about this whole resume thing. A resume, it used to be years ago that your resume was kind of just a summary of the jobs that you had and really talked about the job duties. It was very much kind of like a fancy job description. Not anymore. These days, a resume is a very personalized marketing document. And even though it's about you, it's not for you. It's for your audience. And your audience, in this case, is going to be recruiters and hiring managers that are looking for someone to do the job that you want to do. So what does this mean? Why can't you just write a resume and get on with your job search? That's the way it's always been done, right? Well, I want to advise you that your first step should be research. You see, your resume needs to be keyworded for the right opportunities and also needs to be written in a way that your story is compelling. You want a modern, evidence-based resume. And in order to achieve that, to have a really powerful resume that absolutely blows people away and makes them want to invite you in for an interview, you need to have a compelling story. And in order to have a compelling story, you need to know what your audience wants to hear. So before you start writing that resume, do your research. Look at job postings for the jobs that you want to have, with the ones that you're interested in. And two, maybe talk to some people. Reach out to folks who have had that job, have had, whether it's really recently or maybe kind of recent past, that have gone through that path to understand what are some of the conversations that are had in that role. What are some of the primary skill sets? What are some of the success stories that matter in that job? So that you can then shape your story, your resume, which is your door opener to your next path in your career. You can shape it properly to the audiences, both the computer and the human, that are going to be reviewing your resume for potential opportunities. What do I mean by human and computer? Most employers these days use an applicant tracking system. It is software that scans your resume to make sure that you meet the minimum qualifications or most of the qualifications for the job. So it takes all the keywords out of the job description and matches it with your resume. And the higher your match, then the more likely you are to be passed on to a human to actually talk to you about the job. Once it gets to a human, then it's got to be pretty. Pretty resumes do better than ugly resumes. So you don't want to over dramatize your resume. You don't want to over design it, because design elements don't work in the computer scanning software. So you have to balance compliance with the ATS with a nice visual that invites somebody to read your resume and carries them through the storyline. So once you've done your research in those, then create your resume. At that point in time, go ahead and get started with the resume. And while you're doing that, there's a few other things that you're going to want to take care of. First of all, if you are not alone in this world, if you have friends, family, anybody that depends on you, especially if you're married or in a relationship, you want to make sure that your significant person in your life is aware that you're going to be looking for another job and supports you in that. Not having support in your job search or having any kind of conflict in your job search can take away from your positive mindset, can eat away at your energy, can cause frustration, and basically it's just going to wear you down and it's not going to work. So have agreements and support from the people in your life. B, talk to colleagues and mentors. Find out what's happening in the industry you want to get into. What do you need to know about the companies that you're targeting? What feedback can they give you about what you do really well and what you're terrible at so that you can work on those things? And if you are going to go into a job search mode, then you might as well start identifying people that may be willing to give you recommendations. Now, just so you know, you don't list your recommendations, your people on your resume. That isn't done anymore. Just like your objective statement's not done anymore. And if you didn't know that, then you and I need to talk a whole lot more. But for the purpose of this conversation, just start getting your referrals, your recommendations into place. Get your mentors, your colleagues, get them aware that you may need to tap into them to say some nice things about you, relevant things about you, in the event that you go work through an interview process and a job offer. So I am Liz M. Lopez, career and business coach. I hope that these thoughts and ideas have helped you to understand that absolutely the resume is not necessarily the first thing that you need to be doing, that you need to be, one, making sure you do your research so that you can understand how to communicate your story the best way for the job that you want, that you are talking to individuals and mentors in that industry so that they can guide you as to what those conversations need to be like, what are the essential stories to promote on your resume, and that you're lining up your referrals so that if you get invited to interview and you do well in those interviews, that you then have the next piece of the puzzle and don't have to scramble at the last minute to find 3 people that'll say something nice about you. Please, if this has been helpful to you, hit the like button and also take a look at the description section. I have some links to some resources that might be helpful to you. I'm Liz M. Lopez, career and business coach, and I'm 100% dedicated to promoting the success of others.